Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sneha Nair of LG Institutes of Applied Sciences. In the last video, we had already covered about semester 5 physical chemistry paper number 303, unit 3A, which was chemical kinetics. I'm sure that you would have gone through it and you would not be facing any doubts. So today, in this coming video, we'll be studying about paper number 303 of physical chemistry, unit 3, part B, which is called as polymer chemistry. In this entire video, we'll be studying about what exactly do you mean by polymers? How do we exactly classify polymers? So let's get started. Now, if we talk about polymers, now as the name only suggests that polymers is derived from a Greek word wherein it was combined with two different names. That is, the first name was called as poly, which means the first was called as poly, which meant that many. Anything which has got many, and mers we already know is called as units. So anything which has got many units of certain things or certain compounds or certain simpler molecules will be called as polymers. Now in this particular case, polymers generally contain a lot of many units of monomer units joined with one another. Now, it is very simpler. If we already know how to define polymer, it becomes extremely easy to define monomers. So monomers is nothing but means anything which is one, and mer again is nothing but what? Unit. So if I now define it, so polymer will be what? They are macromolecule which have got very high molecular mass, and that is formed, that is the high molecular mass is formed when you join a large number of simpler, smaller units with one another, which are called as monomers. So as you can see here that I've cited an example of ethylene. Here what I've done is ethylene, which is CH2 double bond CH2, n times, as in there will be n number of different monomers of ethylene. They will combine with one another and they will result into the formation of polyethylene, which is CH2, single bond CH2 and whole N. Now here you can see that N here written is the number of units of ethylene that are combined to result into the formation of polyethylene. Now, so it becomes very now simpler to understand or define what you mean by polymerization. So any process by which we can convert the monomers, or we can, combine the monomers and then they can get transformed into polymer is called as polymerization. So the simplest definition that we have seen is polymers will be nothing but it will be a high molecular mass or high macromolecule which is having extremely high molecular mass, and large number of simpler, smaller units of monomers are combining with one another. And also, then when they are combining n numbers of polymer units, when they're combining with one another, then they result into the formation of polymerization. Now, if we are already through with the definition, let us now understand what exactly we mean by, or how exactly do we classify the polymers. So if I talk about the classification of polymers, the classification of polymers is generally done on four major categories. As you can see here in this chart, I've used or I've defined already four different categories. Now we'll move on to each one of the category in detail. Let us first understand that the first category is based on the origin of source. Now, what do you mean by origin of source? That is, polymers generally can be obtained in three different forms. A, it can be obtained naturally. B, it can be obtained semi-synthetically. And obviously, lastly, it can be obtained synthetically. Okay? Now, if I want to understand what do I mean by natural polymers? So natural polymers are such type of polymers which are generally obtained from either plant, they are obtained from either plants or animals. Okay. Now, if I know that they are obtained from plants and animals, then the various categories of natural polymers can be further subdivided into either it can be starch, Then it can be cellulose, which is the building units. Then we have amino acids or proteins. We can say in general proteins, that is the third part of the polymer. And obviously lastly, natural rubber. Now, rubber we have already seen, that is the latex that is obtained from the rubbers. So if I talk about the origin or source of the polymers, that was the first category. And in that first category, what is the natural polymers? So natural polymers are any such polymers that can be obtained directly from the plants or animals, and they can be further subdivided into four different types, which is starch, cellulose, proteins, and rubbers. Now, if now I talk about what do I mean by semi-synthetic polymers? Now see, semi-synthetic polymers are one such polymer category wherein the natural polymer is taken, and then this natural polymer is taken into the chemical laboratory. We do certain chemical reactions over it, and then we form synthetically, as in when we are doing certain reactions, obviously in the presence of chemical laboratories, inside the chemical laboratories, what we are doing is we are synthetically treating the natural things. So the very commonest example of semi-synthetic polymers is the vulcanized rubber. As we have already seen, that vulcanized rubber, what we do is we take a natural rubber which is obtained from the trees, then that natural rubber is reacted with sulfur or reacted with certain different reactions at perfect different temperature conditions, and then they result into the formation of what? Vulcanized rubber. And vulcanized rubber, as we all know, that is having very high tensile strength, very high durability, etc. So semi-synthetic polymers are such kind of polymers wherein you take it from natural source, you give it some chemical treatment over it, and then you use it for further usage in the day-to-day life. Then moving on to the last category, which is called as a synthetic polymers. Now synthetic polymers are such type of polymers which are entire. If I'm combining two different set of monomers, then what I'll do is the entire two different monomers will be synthesized in the chemical laboratory. We will not make use of any natural substance into the synthetic polymers. So this was the first classification of polymers that was based on the origin of source. Now if I talk about the based on structure, now based on structure, they are categorized mainly into linear, branched, and cross-linked polymers. Now let us understand what exactly do we mean by linear polymers. Now for example, if I have this is for example a chain of polymer. Now I have subdivided this chain into, all these chains are stacked one on another. That is, all the different chains of this polymer units are stacked on one top of one another. That will be called as linear polymers. Now the advantage of using linear polymers is that will have high density, it is going to have high tensile strength, and it is obviously going to have very high melting and boiling points. Now moving on to the branch polymers. Now if I need to understand what you mean by branch polymers, for example, I say that I have a polymeric chain. Then on this polymeric chain, I have got different sub-polymeric chains that are joined. So the normal tree structure that you know, when we were younger, we used to draw this kind of structure to indicate the plants, so this is the exactly same structure of the branch chain polymers, as in we have a one single polymeric chain which will develop multiple chains over it. So that is called as the branch chain polymerization. Now branch chain polymerizations will have low tensile strength, they will have low density, and they will have low melting and boiling point. Why? Because if I want to break the entire thing, what I'll do is have to break this one, then I'll have to break this one, then this chain, and then I can move on to the final chain which is there. And lastly, which is called as a cross-link polymerization. Now cross-link polymerization is used as one of the most favorite type of polymerization. This is the normal polymeric chain. Now cross-link, what will happen is there will be different links. One polymeric chain will be linked to another polymeric chain by a different bonds. Okay? So cross-link polymerization will be, in general, can be considered as a three-dimensional network structure. So now if I want to break that polymers, it will be completely different. Why? Because it is a three-dimensional structure. So when you need to break any three-dimensional structure, you need to put in a large amount of energy into it. No? So this is the widely used cross-link polymerization or the cross-link chains based on the structure. Now, if I talk about the based on molecular forces. So based on the molecular forces, which again forms the third category of classification of polymers, it takes into consideration elastomers. Now elastomers, if I need to understand what is elastomers, the simplest thing that we have seen is a rubber band. If I stretch a rubber band to a certain extent, what will happen is, for example, this I can consider as a rubber band. Now what I'm doing is I'm stretching this rubber band. This rubber band can stretch, and then it can, when I release the pressure into it, what will happen is it will again come back to the normal state of position. So elastomers are similarly, you stretch it, they'll become stretched. The moment you release it, it will come into its original shape and size. So that is called as the elastomers, which will have weak van der Waals forces in present inside them. Then comes fibers. We have already seen fibers. We wear clothing. So fibers are generally the classified form of polymer, which includes nylon, dacron, etc., which are commonly used nowadays. Then comes the most important category on the basis of molecular forces, that is the thermoplastics and the thermosetting plastics. Now this forms the two most important category. Now if I want to understand what do I mean by thermoplastic and thermosetting plastics, so the simplest, commonest example to understand is a Bisleri bottle. Now for example, I take a normal Bisleri bottle, and after drinking entire water from that bottle, if I crush that into, if I apply force, if I try to crush that bottle, what will happen is it will automatically be deformed in its shape. It will, completely change its shape. Similarly, that type of plastics, which on further application can be molded, can be shaped, can be changed into different shapes, can be used, reused again, can be remolded again. For example, if I heat, it will melt, and if I then want to change it into any different shape, it can easily take up any different shape and form. That type of plastics are called as thermoplastics. On the contrary, if I take a Tupperware bottle, which we have already seen, if no matter how hard pressure do I apply into it, or the plastic plates that we have seen commonly, when we go to eat Chinese outside, how hard pressure do I apply, they will not be molded, their shape cannot be remolded, their shape cannot be changed. They cannot, the pressure, even the highest amount of pressure will lead into no shape change, is called as thermosetting plastics or the thermosetting polymers. See, the simplest name only suggests is once they are set up into different things, they will not be reshaped. On the contrary, thermoplastic, the moment I'm applying heat onto it, they will change their shape. So classification based on the molecular forces, the two main categories are thermoplastics and thermosetting polymers. Now we'll move on to the last category, which is the classification of polymers on the basis of the mode of polymerization. Now what do you mean by mode of polymerization? As in, how well or by which technique am I joining the polymers with one another? The very first category is called as the addition polymerization. As the name only suggests, addition, what we will do is we will take two monomer units. For example, this is one monomer unit, which is X. I will add another monomer unit, which is Y, into it, and then they will result in the formation of what? XY. This is the simplest example of addition polymers. Now, wherein we are joining two different set of monomers, they will be combining with one another, and they will then be resulting into the formation of a single monomeric chain or the single polymeric chain. Now, monomer units are generally of two main categories. The very first category turns out to be homopolymers, and the second category turns out to be copolymers. Now, for example, Homo, as the name only suggests, we are called as Homo sapiens. Why Homo sapiens? Because even if I go anywhere, what will happen is I will, if you compare any human being with the other human being, the basic things will remain the same. Both will have two eyes, two ears, one nose, So homopolymers is the same thing. When two same type of monomeric units are joined with one another, combined with one another, then they will result into the homopolymers. And if two different things are, for example, if X and X would have been combined, if two X and X are combining with one another, for example, if X is combining with another X, they are resulting into the homopolymers. For example, if X is combining with Y, they are resulting into the formation of a copolymer. Now, if now I know what is called as addition polymers. Let us now move on to condensation polymers. Now, the very most important thing for condensation polymer is that, as the name only suggests, they will condense. That is, if two polymers are joined with one another, for example, if I'm combining X and if I'm combining it with Y, they will obviously be resulting into XY. But this XY will always be formed by the release of certain thing. Either it can release water, either it can release alcohol, either it can release amino group based on what kind of different monomeric chains you have combined with one another. So that brings us to the end of classification of polymers. I hope all the entire doubts are clear. So in the coming lecture, we'll be talking about, or we'll be discussing in detail, the copolymer, which forms another important question according to the Gujarat University syllabus. Till that time, keep revising, stay good, stay safe. Thank you.